Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I don't know when this is going to be going up because I'm not sure how I'm going to edit this. I'm not sure where I'm going to fit this in. I have been kind of throwing in some shorts here and there, but I planned on taking a little bit of a break through the holidays. But I really want to get up my viewership and my subscribers. I'm looking to monetize, so I'm trying to get content out. um So please subscribe if you aren't subscribed. Yeah. Um, so this video, I'm kind of playing with a little bit of what I like to watch and kind of mixing it with what seems to work a little bit. Hopefully this is something that you guys enjoy. So today I want to talk about millennial fashion. I call it Gen Y fashion because I feel like there's a difference between, like, there's kind of a cutoff there. I feel like if you were born in the early 90s, your teenhood especially was very different from those who were born later in the 90s because you had more of the 2000s childhood, and that was very different from the 2000s teenhood. Um, it just did. It just did. Um, so I thought it would be fun. I did this with my makeup looks, and I don't know. I don't have a lot of pictures of actual outfits from that time period that I wore, only because I didn't really take pictures like that because kids. We didn't have like Tumblr and all of that like made it cool to take pictures of your outfits. Like if you did, you did, but usually that didn't happen. Usually we took selfies where we were just like, you know, and that's what we did. So most of the pictures from that time period are of me are that. But I do have a couple of pictures from when I was a little older that I think kind of commemorate the look, and also why I say it's a difference is now that we are older, there are things we hung on to. So I want to kind of put that in perspective because I just thought it would be fun. We have so many different nostalgic videos, and nobody really talks about this in this way, at least not that I've seen. It could be out there. I don't know, but a lot of what I see is like the music, the movies, and we can talk about that. Maybe one video I'll talk about that, but this is, I think, kind of more niche. And also, like I said, being in my 30s, I've become so nostalgic for this, and I've noticed certain things that, like, people do talk about, like the feeling of, like, oh wow, am I doing something millennial core, as they say? And I think this is part of it. So let's start with hair. Let's start with hair. So we have side bangs. Now I rocked side bangs right before and like into my graduating year. So I thought it was so cool. I thought it was so cool. I was so excited. I wanted to get them, but I didn't know if it would work. And I had cut my hair short and really liked it. And then I got the side bangs. I'm putting the picture in, like, probably like here. That was the weekend that I went to get it done. I think like a couple days after I had gone out somewhere to like a movie or something, and I got I did my hair and my makeup, and that was what. And that picture, I loved that picture. I was like, that picture is the best picture of me. And Now I realize it's such a bad quality picture. But that was what we had to work with, guys. That was what we had to work with. It was because who remembers how bad the cameras were back then? Like, I'm recording this right now on my cell phone because I don't have a camera and I don't have like the equipment for actually like filming, you know. I don't have ring lights. I don't have that set up because I don't have room for it. So I just use my phone and my little microphone, and to me it works. You know, maybe this doesn't work. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I don't know. But these cameras now, like, I don't even have a new phone. I have a pretty old phone. And I feel like the cameras now are just like so much better than when we started. I mean, okay, so this, going into that, this is a picture of me, my sophomore year, I think junior year of high school. This was a very cool thing to do. I actually have this picture framed next to my mom's senior photo because this would have been like my senior photo. So I put them together and I just thought it was cute. But this is something that we did. I don't know why, but a lot of people I knew had pictures like this, where it was like blurry, and I thought it was cool. And I think it had something to do with being artsy, but it really just was a blurry photo. Like, why did we do that? I don't know. I don't have an answer, but I thought it was so great. And it actually isn't that great. And I did like a Photoshop thing where I put like an oil painting like thing over it. It wasn't a filter at the time. It was, I mean, it was, now looking back, that's what it was, but it didn't have like, you know, you didn't have all that. But I think it was like in MySpace they had like a thing you could put over your profile picture, and I had saved it, and so that's what it looks like when it was all finished. And you know, so like, but the actual picture, it didn't have to have that much work to get like that because that's the way my camera took the picture. But the one that I'm talking about with the hair, that one I took with a different phone. That I took with my pink razor. Does anybody remember the pink razor? Yes, I had one, and I was so proud of it. I saved my money for it and bought that phone. I thought it was so cool. And that's the kind of pictures it took. But it was a little bit ahead of its time because you could like close the phone, and there was a button, I think, if I remember correctly, or you had to go into the camera, one of the two. But you could close the phone and actually get an idea of what the picture looked like. It wasn't a great way, we didn't get a great idea of it, but you got an idea of it and know like where the camera was, and you could take it like how we take pictures now with our front-facing camera. So, I mean, there was that. Yeah. And moving on, let's talk about, we talked about makeup in my makeup video, so I'm going to skip over the makeup because we already talked about that. If you want to see more about that, just subscribe and go look for my roasting myself video, because I did roast myself. Yeah. But we're gonna move on to kind of why I started this, and of, I don't know, I guess this brings it into the point. The clothes. The clothing. We had a lot of different things, but something that I want to focus on, that again, this kind of gave me the idea. Um, it wasn't necessarily a video where they broke everything down like this, but I've seen like memes and posts where people talk about, oh my God, I'm not giving up my Ugg boots. And people call them ugly space boots. My Ugg boots. I got a pair of fake Ugg boots from Payless when I was about 17, I think. Those boots were my favorite boots. I also had a pair of sweater boots. I think I still have them. I don't remember if I kept them or not, but sweater boots. I searched the city for sweater boots. Found them at Old Navy. I paid like $60 for them. They were so expensive. And they like buttoned on the side. And I'm going to try to find a picture. I actually did get rid of them because my cat destroyed them. And I didn't think about that, but yeah. But anyway, um, then I moved into Ugg boots and I never went back. The Airwalk, fur-lined boots, they're all the same general idea. I had those. I've always had a pair like that. And you can see this picture was just before Thanksgiving. And yes, this went grocery shopping. Oh yeah. And I regretted none of it, and I thought I loved that look. And I attribute that to growing up in the early 2000s as a teenager, in that early to mid 2000s. That's what we did. That's who we were. And, I think it's funny because you have so many, like, different perspectives on that and whether it was bad, whether it was good. For me, it was good because there were so many fashion choices. You could be emo, you could be, a horse girl, you could be, and I was a lot of those things. So for me, I did lots of different looks, and that was something that I loved to do, was pick out clothes that were different things and like not necessarily theming, because that's like, I did it sometimes. Let's be honest, I did it sometimes, but it wasn't in the way that you would think. Like, it was more of a like, I'm feeling this kind of mood today, so I'm gonna do my nails like this, and I'm gonna do my makeup like this, and I'm gonna do my clothes like this, and it all put it together, and it just kind of was an expression. And I feel like now kids don't do that much. Kids are doing more of a like, what is TikTok saying? And that's just not how we did things. That's just not how, it's just not the way that we went about picking our outfits and our hair and all of that. But now getting into the point of it really got me thinking, like, as a person in my 30s, I look at that time period with such fondness because, when you're in that age, 15, 16, 17, you're learning everything, and it's all so new, and it's just all so big. And then you realize, like, when you get into your 20s, like, oh wow, I really didn't know anything. And then when you're in your 30s, you realize, oh, I didn't know anything. I knew literally nothing, and I really think that the clothing shows that, but then there are pieces that we hang on to like that, like those Ugg boots, like that poncho, and it brings me back to the time watching One Tree Hill and, Haley and her poncho. But, like, those things, they never really leave us, and I think that's why, like, we go back to them. And I think our generation especially if you're, between 32 and 40, um, that's where you start to see we're all kind of connected by this. And I don't look at it as a traumatic thing. I look at it as a really interesting thing that we have this specific time period to look back on and to have. And, you know, it shows what we've learned, it shows how we've grown, but then it also shows the parts of us that really are good. And it's really okay to enjoy that and to be proud of that. I'm proud of my Ugg boots. I have a pair that I got from Amazon and I wear them all the time. I'm very careful. I don't wear them to work because I don't want to mess them up. But I wear them because they're warm and they're comfortable and they're cute and they go with my leggings because yes, I wear leggings every single day. I wear them to work. I wear them going out. Because they're the best pants. They work with everything. So when I look at this outfit, I see a homage to a great time period, but then also I see comfort, warmth, and accessibility. I mean, this is easy, and I think it's something that still looks nice, but is so special. I don't know, I look at it with fondness and, you know, maybe we'll put a little, maybe it'll put a little of in your step. Maybe it'll light a fire under you to find something from when you were young that you want to hang on to and acknowledge. And that's okay. Be happy about that. Be glad that you came up in the time period that you did because you have the memories from it. And it's something that you can share and it's something that you can have fun with. Whether that's listening to a song that you loved, as a teenager, or whether it's watching a movie that you used to love and realizing that it's so campy and crappy, but it was something that you enjoyed. And it's all part of it. It's all part of growing up and learning the differences in age ranges and in how mentally and emotionally you grow up. It's just so interesting to see, I think. And it's something that I feel like, people like to joke about it, but for me, again, it's just such a fun thing to look at. And it's something that you can lean into that I think we don't have enough of. People look down on them. And I'm not saying, that you don't, ignore your responsibilities and go, shop at the mall if there's a mall left. But I'm saying, like, when you have downtime, you know what? Go watch Step Up. Why? Because it's a crappy movie. And yes, in 2006, 15-year-old us, we loved it. Any of us who, you know, watched those type of movies, we loved it. And you know what? It's okay. I have it on DVD and I watch it sometimes and I'm like, it's a terrible movie. The acting is terrible. The dancing is terrible. But I watch it because it's just one of those movies that you look back on and you go, what a time to be alive. And there are movies like that from every time period. So no matter where you grew up, how you grew up, what time period you grew up in, you can do that and you can have fun and you can laugh at yourself, but then also remember that it's something that brings that warmth to your heart. And we go back at Christmas and we rewatch these old specials and these old movies, and we remember where we were at when we were young. And why can't it be that way all year round? That's all part of life. There's so many different things, different aspects of growing up that we can look back on and we can cherish and commemorate. So, with this video, I'm commemorating my Gen Y childhood and teenhood, and I just thought that would be fun. If you want to go and look at my Pinterest, you can find my 90s baby OO's tween teen board on Pinterest, and you can see all of the things that I used to love growing up. Very, very specific. And just have fun with it. Let me know in the comments what time period you grew up in. And I'm really interested to see what things you loved growing up. Were you a horse girl? Were you a emo? Were you a scene girl? Or were you something from maybe before my time? Were you, a b-boy b-girl? Were you, a disco girl? Let me know. Let me know what you thought, what you felt, and what was your favorite piece of clothing from growing up. And thank you guys for tuning in. I hope this is fun for you guys. I'm going to be doing a couple different kinds of videos because I really want to mix it up and give you guys something fun to see at the end of your day or while you're taking your break from work or whatever the case may be. I want to be something for you guys to look in on. So make sure you're subscribed and tuning in every time I upload. Bye, guys.